since he ran away and left us here to be managing our life. So he's going to show us everything we need to know from QTS up to how you can land a job. A lot of people have QTS, but they can't seem to find their way abroad. They don't know what to do. So Mr. Mine is going to show us from his own life testimony. This is not know what somebody told somebody, what told somebody. He's going to share with us everything that he did and up to how he decided to how he got there and how he moved his beloved wife and children there. All right, over to you, Mr. Mine.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everybody. As Mr. Ohena rightly said, my name is Mine, where I am a teacher. That's all I've done all my life. I have taught for roughly 17, going to 18 years in Nigeria. I've done 1 year, 1 school year here.
You are muted. You are muted. You are muted.
Yeah. I'm sure if my way is muted.
Oh my God.
Mr. Mine. Please,
Okay,
every
can you
other
hear me
person
now?
mute your mic. Let us have only Mr. Mine.
Okay, I'm sure y'all can hear me now, right?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes, we
excellent.
can.
Apologies, I was muted and I just went on and on and on. Okay, so I was doing a brief introduction of myself.
Okay.
Yeah, my name is Mine Omero. I am a teacher. I have taught for roughly 17, going to 18 years. That's all I've done since I left school. And all my experience in teaching was in Abuja. I moved to Abuja after youth service in Nigeria. I was at a point in my career where I felt like I'm tired of teaching. You know, I was already thinking of something else, and you know how with most people, Japa was trending. So I was thinking about ways to relocate. Some of those top countries came into my mind. I thought of Canada. I was already making plans for Canada, the UK, and all of that. And maybe I should share a bit of my story before I kick off showing you my slides. So like I said earlier, I was thinking of Japa. I had already started working towards moving to Canada. But most people who are on this platform who schooled in Nigeria would agree with me, getting your transcripts in most schools in Nigeria is a Herculean task. I chased my transcript for about 3 years. I kept, going on and on, back and forth and all of that. That was when I thought of moving to Canada. Okay. At some point I would stop, there was lots of back and forth. Then I thought of doing the UK option. Different options came to my mind, for UK. I wanted to do the school route. That's having to come and do my master's degree here. But something just told me, okay, you've been teaching for a while. It will make sense for you to move and use your experience, in teaching. So something prompted me to go online and just search what it would take for me to teach in England. I didn't know about anything called QTS and all of that. I just went online to search and I stumbled on QTS. So what's QTS? Qualified teacher status, blah, blah, blah. I went on and on. I did a lot of research. I got to the point where I was in contact with the Department for Education. That's like the Ministry for Education here, because they need teachers. You can actually call, book a call back. They will call you back. All of this happened while I was still in Nigeria. They book a call back. I was assigned an advisor. Someone spoke to me, gave me all of the options, just gave me ideas and all of that. Initially, what I wanted to do was to come and study, because in Nigeria, yes, I did education, but as a Nigerian, I do not have qualified teacher status. And it's with qualified teacher status that I'll be able to teach in England. Okay, so if I'm not able to teach, if I don't have QTS, what do I need to do? One of the routes I will talk about is where you come to study. You do a PGC with QTS for a year. Okay, it's like you're doing a teacher training program, even though you're a trained teacher in your country. You do a teacher training program for a year. You do the posting to different schools where you do your induction. So that was my plan initially, and I had already applied. I had already started the process. I was given an advisor. We're already talking. When all of a sudden someone spoke to me one day, a different advisor spoke to me one day and said, "Hold on, are you a qualified teacher in your country?" I said, "Yes, I am." And he said, "You're Nigerian, right?" I said, "Yes." And he said, this call was somewhere in 2022, around this time in 2022, August. He said that they're working on a legislation where they will be able to bring in qualified teachers from certain countries to be able to come and teach in England. That if I should just hold on and put my ears on the ground, that he thinks I'll be able to make it. So I put my ears on the ground. If you all remember, it was in late 2022 that the announcement was made about coming to teach in England and all of that. So because I had that prior information from between August and December, they released the information in December. But as at August, I already had heads up, that they were working on a policy where they'll be able to bring in teachers. So I kept combing the UK government website, getting updates. And I knew of all of the requirements. Fortunately for me, or should I say unfortunately, they also required my transcript that I spoke about previously. I said I had tried to get for Canada and it wasn't working. So between August and December, I knew I would need my transcripts. I intensified efforts. I did everything within my power to get my transcripts, get everything ready, and that was it. So when they released the news in December, they said they will start the process on the 1st of February 2023. So before the 1st of February 2023, I got all my documents ready. On that day, on the day the portal opened, I applied for QTS, and I was awarded QTS. There's a process. I'll talk about the process. You would apply for QTS, you would contact the TRCN in Nigeria to send a letter of professional standing for you to TRA here in England. So I did all of that. And somewhere around the end of April, I received my qualified teacher status certificate and I started searching for jobs. Okay, so that's my journey basically. I'm going to compress a whole lot. I don't want to bore you with too much about my own story. I just want you to know that this is possible. It is doable. I did everything on my own. I didn't work with any agents. So I am saying this to let you know that you can do this on your own. Something again that drives me, that is making me, try to tell people about this thing. After getting QTS, right? After being awarded QTS, because the government know that people will need some form of guidance, you will be assigned an advisor to work with you. Okay, so all of us that had QTS were put in a group on Facebook. It's called the Return to Teaching platform on Facebook. It's not a platform you can join on your own. You need to be added by an advisor. So we're all on the platform. And so far, I am still on the platform up till this moment. And so far, when people get jobs, your advisor would tell you to go and share your testimony on the platform just to encourage other people, so they can get inspired and know that it's possible. So far, so far, I am the only Nigerian who has given a testimony, about being employed here in England, and I do not think it's good. We've had over 5 Ghanaians who have testified that they've gotten jobs, but I am the only Nigerian, and I'm asking myself, where are my people? Where are my people? I know we're smart. I know we can do this thing, So what is QTS? Qualified Teacher Status is a legal requirement to teach in many English schools and is considered desirable for teachers in most schools. It is a professional teaching qualification that can be obtained through teacher training, either undergraduate or postgraduate. The Teaching Regulation Agency, that's the TRA, is responsible for awarding QTS. So it's more like QTS would be what we would call our TRCN certificate and license in Nigeria. You know, ideally in Nigeria, you are unable to teach without your TRCN certificate. You would only get jobs in maybe some private schools who would employ you, but really, you should not be able to teach without your TRCN certificate in Nigeria, even if you did education. Doing education is not enough. So that's what QTS is here. It's a qualified teacher status. Now, how do you get QTS? There are different pathways, right? There are different pathways with which you can get QTS. Now, I would focus on 4 pathways that 4 pathways that have to do with us, people like you and I, right? Because people who are English, who are in the country here where I am currently, do not need to go through these pathways, right? What I have here are pathways that you and I or anyone in Nigeria currently can explore, right? The very first one on the list there, as you can see, is the apply for QTS in England using our professional recognition service. Now, there are a list of countries. I would dwell more on this much later. There are a list of countries that England, they feel that, okay, we have stuff to do with these countries. We have similar systems and all of that. We have interest in these countries. And we feel like teachers from these countries would be able to fit into our country if they come in to teach, right? So that's the pathway I used, right? And that's what I'll be dwelling on for this session. Now, the 3 other pathways you see there is the apply for assessment only QTS, right? That's a different pathway. We will not talk about that for today. There's the apply for teacher training in England option. That's the one I mentioned previously that I was trying to use to come in. That's more like you come and do a training for 1 year, do teacher training and all of that. Then there's the apply to train for international qualified teacher status. Okay, that's a different pathway. The focus for today is the using our professional recognition service. Okay, that's the focus for today. Okay, and people who would require the other options, you can find ways to reach out to me or Miss Rahina, and we'll gladly help you. Right, but the focus for now is the very first one there, where you use your professional recognition service. Okay. So depending on where you're qualified, the subject you teach, and the qualifications, you may be able to use the Department for Education's professional recognition service. To get QTS, you must meet strict mandatory requirements. So basically, okay, let me just give a brief overview here. They have a serious shortage in certain subjects for secondary schools. Okay, they need teachers in primary, but it's not as bad as the need for teachers in secondary. So this pathway I used, if it's something you want to explore, then you know that you are coming in to teach secondary, and there are certain subjects they're looking for teachers in. Okay, there are certain subjects they're looking for teachers in. They need teachers with background in physics. So if you did physics in your degree, you know, you qualify. They need teachers of physics, teachers of chemistry, teachers of biology, teachers of mathematics, and languages, apart from English. So if your degree is in English, you do not qualify for this particular pathway. So by languages, I mean French. If you did French in school, you did German in school, you did Spanish, you did Mandarin, any modern foreign language, yes, then you would qualify. So the Department for Education developed a fairer approach to awarding QTS to teachers who are trained abroad, people like you and I. When they say trained abroad, that's trained outside England. Okay, I was trained outside England. I went to Delta State University. I was trained outside England. So that's what they mean, a fairer approach to awarding QTS to overseas teachers. If you are trained abroad, not in England, and your subject specialism is in any of these subjects that I mentioned, then they can give you a special recognition, okay, a professional recognition service. So if your application for QTS is successful, your qualifications and experience will be recognized as meeting the same standards as QTS, and you'll be awarded QTS. Now, something people need to know, even for me back then, when I heard of the process, it didn't occur to me that there are different stages in this whole process. Back then, we felt that once you have QTS, it means that automatically you would land in England. That's not how it works. Getting QTS is the very first step. That's the first hurdle you will need to pass, right? Getting QTS is like getting your BSc or getting your TRCN license. If you have your TRCN license in Nigeria, that does not give you a job. True or false? It's true. When you get your TRCN license in Nigeria, or you have your BSc, you do not have a job automatically. You still need to apply for jobs. You still need to go for you still need to go for interviews. You still need to prove yourself in an interview before you will get a job. So for me, back then, before I applied, I was like, I'm sure the difficult part would be just applying for QTS. And once you get QTS, automatically, voila, you find yourself in England. By people, that's not how it works. Okay, you would first get QTS, right? After getting QTS, you now need to search for jobs. Then when you search for jobs and you've gotten a job, you now apply for your visa. So there are three main steps. First, get QTS. Second, search for jobs. When you're searching for jobs, you need to search for a job that comes with a certificate of sponsorship, a COS, right? That's what you use. The school or the academy that is employing you would provide that documents for you. So you present that document alongside other documents to the embassy that will help you get your visa.
Sorry, certificate of some or what?
Of sponsorship, COS, certificate of sponsorship. So when you're searching for jobs, you need to search for jobs that come with a certificate of sponsorship. So it means you need to contact the employer. Like me, for example, when I was searching for jobs, I had to, I would show you the sites I went to search for jobs. There are lots of them, but three of them there are three major sites you can go to. There are other ones, but there are three major sites you can go to. Somewhere later in the presentation, I would show all of these to you, right? Right now, when you go to such sites, you will see they will tell you that this job comes with visa sponsorship. That job doesn't come with visa sponsorship. So for you right now, when you're searching, after getting QTS and you're searching for your jobs, you need to make sure it's a job that comes with visa sponsorship. So you can use the COS gotten from the employer to apply for your visa. So there we have the list of countries I told you about. Now, there are other countries where the list is quite long. Now, this particular list here is the one that concerns us. There are other countries like the USA, Australia, Canada, where teachers from those countries can come in to teach, both in primary or in secondary. So I do not know why they did this. Probably maybe they do not trust us well enough. I don't know, to teach primary. I do not know. But if you are from any of these countries you see on the screen there, Ghana, India, Jamaica, Nigeria, Singapore, and South Africa, and your degree is in any of the subjects I mentioned previously, then potentially you qualify. Potentially you qualify. So let me just add something again, right? I'm not saying this to scare anybody. I'm just saying this to help you get ready. It is not a piece of cake. Yes, they have a shortage of teachers, but that doesn't mean they'll just hand a job out to you like that. They still have certain standards that they're looking for. If you know the Englishman very well, the Englishman, they do not let me not talk too much, right? But there are certain standards. You need to meet the standards. They'd rather leave the children alone with supply teachers than employ someone who they will not have confidence in. Now I'm driving somewhere. I'm saying all of this to tell you that look at the list of countries here: Ghana, India, Jamaica, Nigeria, Singapore, and South Africa. This should tell you that there is serious competition. There is serious competition. So you need to be prepared. You need to be prepared. You need to be ready. You know, when you are going, I still remember clearly when I was going for when I had my interview, it was like in my head, it was like, whoa, because I wanted it so bad. And I'm very grateful to God that I had the experience needed, right? I had the experience needed because it's the experience needed that will make it's the experience you have that will make you shine in your interview.
Yeah.
Do you understand? It's the experience you have that
Mhm.
will make you shine in your interview. Thankfully, I have worked in top schools in Abuja, you know, where we would say we follow international best practice. You know, even though I was in Nigeria, I could easily tell you what's obtainable in the classroom in England, right? I'm saying this again to let you know that if you need to find your way, I don't know how you would do it. Um, Even if it's by volunteering or by just reading stuff online, know what's obtainable in an English classroom. I know a lot of schools out there would say they claim to be international, but they really are not international. Because when push
Yes.
comes to shove,
Yes.
when push comes to shove, like I said, it is competition. Yes, they have a shortage, but they will not say because they have a shortage, they will give a job to anybody. You need to prove that you can do it. And that's where the interview comes in. Look at the people you're up against. People from Ghana. Ghanaians have solid teachers. Solid teachers. Look at Indians. You and I know that they are very academic. Look at
Yeah.
all the countries in there. So you know that it is not child's play, it's not beans. It is not, I'm not saying this to scare anybody. It is doable. I did it. I'm a Nigerian. You know, I went to primary school in Benin. I went to secondary school in Sapele. I went to university in Abraka. Do you understand? And I worked all my life in Abuja. And I was able to get a job. In short, during my interview, I was told that um, the head of the department and the one of the assistant heads of the school interviewed me, and they said, ordinarily we'll get back to you in about 5 to 6 working days, but I'm sure you will hear from us today. I'm quoting the lady verbatim. You know, you will hear from us today, blah blah blah. And the next thing I received an email, congratulations. You understand?
Wow.
So yes. So you need to. I am stressing on this. It is very important. You know, it's very important for you to get yourself ready. Now, these countries have been selected initially because our research shows teachers from these countries already have a substantial presence in the UK as valued members of the teaching workforce. Yes, in my town here, even in my school, although they're not teachers who have come in through my pathway, but um, they are teachers of Nigerian descent here. You know, maybe people who have one spouse that does something, someone who they're working as supply teachers because they don't have QTS yet, or some are working as teaching assistant because they don't have, because if you don't have QTS, even if you have a PhD, even if you have a PhD in education, you will not get a class. You will not be considered a teacher. You will not be
Wow.
considered a teacher. Yes, even if you have a PhD in education, you're not a teacher till you have QTS. So most of these people now work as supply teachers, they work as teaching assistants, then they now use all of these other options I mentioned previously to get that QTS before they now get into mainstream classroom. There's an established interest in teaching in England in these countries. Yes, I am interested. You all are interested, right? So they've seen all of these, and we have strong educational ties with these countries. Now, when I say we, that's England now, right? The government, rather. Now they're saying that they will award overseas teachers QTS based on an assessment of each individual's qualifications and experience against strict requirements. These requirements are mandatory and must be met in full, exactly as set out here. So you see, they've told you here, they're not joking. They've told you, look at the requirements we want. You must meet every single one of these requirements. If you fall short in one, they would possibly not give it to you. You need to meet every single one of them. Like I mentioned before, if your background is in any of those subjects I mentioned, you're already halfway through. So let's see what these requirements are. First, you need to have a bachelor's degree of the same academic standard as a UK undergraduate degree, as verified by UK-ENIC, the UK National Agency for International Qualifications and Skills. So basically, you must have a BSc. That's what it means. You know, in Nigeria, if you have an NCE, you can find your way into the classroom. They would clearly tell you, if what you have is NCE, sorry, they need you to have a minimum of a bachelor's degree to be in the classroom. That's one. You must have completed teacher training that meets the standard of a level 6 qualification and is of at least the same length as an English initial training course. For example, a Bachelor of Education or postgraduate certificate in education. So that's it. So, you know, for people, there are people who have a degree in a certain subject. Maybe you did only maths, right? You did only maths. You didn't do maths education, right? After doing only maths in school, then you now go further to do a PGDE. That's what this means. That would work for you. But for people like myself, I did a combined degree. I did a Bachelor of Arts in Education in my school. So, and it was a four-year program. You must have completed a course with content that is practically and pedagogically focused. So that means basically the program you did has to be education-based, right? You must be qualified and suitable to teach children between 5 and 16. So anyone who does a bachelor's degree, automatically you're qualified to teach between 5 to 16. So that's from primary all the way to secondary. You must have at least one school year, which is 9 months, of experience employed as a teacher in any country after qualifying, including school holidays. Blah, blah. So basically, you must have taught for at least 1 year. Right? Then the very last one, which is very important, which is something that has held most people back, is that you must be recognized as a teacher in your country. So how do you show that you are a teacher in your country? That's your TRCN license and certificates. It means if you do not have the TRCN license and certificate, you will not qualify, right? So in case you do not have your TRCN license, I'm telling you right now to go and get it. It's very important. If you have every other requirement and you do not have that, banza for you. Every single requirement there is very important. Now, it's not just that. They also want to be sure that you are able to speak English. So you must prove that you can speak English. How would you prove that you can speak English? English language proficiency. You must also meet a certain standard of English language proficiency. This means you must be able to show one of the following. So you must have been born or hold citizenship or have studied at undergraduate level in England. So let's say you were born in England, or you went to school in England, Scotland, Northern Ireland, Wales, all of these countries. Yeah, so that would convince them to say, okay, yes, you can speak and you understand English language. So that's one. If you do not have that, then there's the option of you must have been taught in English at undergraduate level or higher. You will need to provide evidence that English has been the medium of instruction of your degree. So this will be, yes, you schooled in Nigeria. You were taught in English. So you now need to get a letter from your school. What do they call that letter again? There's a name they call the letter. Basically, you get
or something.
a medium of instruction, right? Yeah. So
Yes.
you
Yes.
get
Letter, I think it's a letter of English proficiency.
No,
yes,
medium of instruction. It's medium of
yes,
instruction. MOI.
yeah, that's it. So you get that letter. But me, I always tell people, hey, I would only recommend. I'm not saying you mustn't do it, but for me, I would rather do the third one. What's the third one here? Start a common European framework or reference for languages, CEFR B2 level. All of that terminology there is basically saying that write IELTS. I'm sure we all here, or almost everybody here knows what IELTS is. IELTS is a test, an exam that checks your proficiency in English. And if you're writing IELTS, it has to be the IELTS UKVI, IELTS UKVI General Training. Now, I will tell you the reason I have said I would not recommend for anybody to do the second one. I'll tell you. I'm not saying it is wrong. You can do it. Okay, now you get a letter from your university that says you were taught in English. Fine. You present that for your application. They will possibly grant you. You'll possibly get a QTS. But at the point of applying for your visa, you must provide IELTS. You must provide IELTS. It's one of the requirements for your visa application. So why waste your time? That's one reason. This is my personal opinion, right? I'm just sharing my opinion. Then that's one. Then this IELTS UKVI I'm talking about, as you heard in the name, UKVI, it is their own IELTS. And if you know the Englishman very well, they have more confidence in what is theirs, in their own thing than any other thing.
Yeah.
They know very well that we can be very fraudulent, sadly, but we can be very fraudulent. Anybody can go and forge any letter and say it's from my university. Do you understand?
Yes.
So instead of being in, like I said, it's highly competitive. You're in a queue. You would not want your application to be delayed because they are trying to find out if that letter from your school is genuine or not. Meanwhile, from the comfort of their computer, you can easily check if your IELTS is genuine or not. So it's like you doing the IELTS is like using one stone to kill two birds, because you use the IELTS for your application for QTS and you also need it for your visa application. So why waste your time going to your school? Will sit turning around like Babache. It's not the same school that most people want to get their transcript and they spend forever. They spend forever getting. I paid money. See, I spent 3 years trying to get my transcripts. I started in 2019 when I wanted to do a PGCA program, an online course for the University of Essex. Started chasing and chasing and chasing. There was nothing I did not do. I will get frustrated. I will stop. I will say, you people should get out. I will not do again. After 2 months, I kept going back and forth until I got it eventually. So is it that same school you want to go and get letter from that they will say they'll eat your money? So I would recommend you just do IELTS. Yes, most people are scared of IELTS, but come on, you can do it. It's a B2 level. A B2 level should be a piece of cake for anybody, seriously, because the way they check language proficiency for people. The lowest level is an A1 level. That's the lowest. There's A1, then there's A2, there's B1, there's B2, there's C1, and there's C2. C2 is the highest. If you went to school in Nigeria, if you can understand me right now, you can easily get a B2 in IELTS. There are 4 areas. There are 4 areas where you'll be tested in. Your reading, that's comprehension. Your writing, that's more like composition. Your speaking, that you're talking, you're having a conversation with someone, and you're listening. All you need to do is just practice, get ready, and you would easily get a B2. You would easily get a B2. Now here, this link here, you can just take a snap, a picture of it. That's with that link, you will be able to check if you are eligible, right? For
you scrolling your what's on the screen is what is QTS. I don't know if it's just the same with me.
Are you serious?
Everybody.
Yes, that's what we're seeing.
Oh my god. I've been Okay, hold on. And I've been changing my screen. Oh, Chinekenna. I've been changing changing slides rather, thinking that I've been showing
You're
you
not
people.
changing here.
Can it let me
Mm.
see.
This is
Stop
check your eligibility now.
Stop presenting.
You stop sharing.
Yes, I stopped sharing. I want to
Okay.
try again. Entire screen. Okay, do you see anything
Yes.
now?
We can't see your screen, but like Ayo,
yes.
Miss Ayo is suggesting, can you maybe much later you type it out on the chat?
Okay, so let me just see me thinking. Okay, I will just
I'm taking rest.
cancel. Okay, fine. What I would. Okay, before we leave, I would drop the link in the chat. Or let
Okay.
me quickly do that now. Let me quickly do that. Copy. People, please give me a minute. I don't know how to multitask. So I'm copying and so I have dropped the link there
Okay,
in
I've
the
seen
chat.
it.
Yeah. So with that link, you just check your eligibility, for
How
QTS.
do I see it? Oh, I'm the only one not seeing.
You see
Check
it, ma?
your settings. You will see
Okay.
info messages.
Okay.
Yeah, the link
Have you
has been sent. Yeah.
have you seen messages?
Seen it?
Go to messages. You see
Info
the link there.
messages.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, I have. Thank you.
Seen it, right? Okay.
Yes, please.
Great. So with that, if you will check your eligibility, and if your specialism is in the subject I mentioned previously, then automatically you would qualify and you would apply for yes, and you will wait. So after applying for QTS, you would also need to contact TRCN to send a letter of professional. Yes.
Please mute
Can
your
you
mic,
mention the subject
everyone, so
again,
that we
please?
can hear Mr. Mina.
The subjects are
The subject.
physics, chemistry, biology, mathematics, and languages apart from English. Apart from English. So languages, that will be French, Spanish, German, Mandarin, any modern foreign language.
Some
So
of us did Hausa.
that's not a modern foreign language, ma. So again, what
Go
can I
and
say?
take it.
This is not the only pathway. There are different pathways, right? There are different pathways to getting QTS. So if you do not qualify for this particular pathway, right? If you were here at the beginning of the session, I mentioned some other pathways, right? You can
Yeah.
find ways to make contact with me, and I can guide you through the process on how to go using the other pathways, right? On how to use the other pathways. So you have seen the link for your eligibility. Then the next thing again, hold on. Hold on. Present entire screen.
Okay.
Mr. Rahina,
Yes, I can see it.
you can see my screen, right?
Yeah, next
Yes.
steps. Yeah.
Excellent. So look at all what I thought I was showing you people. So let's move to, okay, this was the last one we looked at.
Yes.
Then now, next steps. This is very important. Like I said, this whole process has three major hurdles three major parts. The first part will be to apply for QTS and get QTS. The second part will be to search for jobs, right? Then the third one will be to apply for your visa. After you have been awarded QTS, see, this next step is very important. You need to apply for an advisor. And again, on the screen is a link. On the screen is a link. I would also copy this link and put in the chat box. With this link, you would apply for an advisor. You'll be assigned someone from the Department for Education. The Department for Education is like the Ministry of Education, right? Someone would work with you one-on-one, guiding you through the process. So for me, I had an advisor, someone who worked with me. You know how, because the way they search for jobs here, it's very different. It is the job search process is tedious. It is very stressful. You know, most people here, you're lucky that I am giving you this information. I didn't have anybody to give me the information. I had to learn on my own. You know, after I was awarded QTS, I went to prepare a very fancy CV, you know, and I updated my CV that I now have QTS. And when they got to the point where I was now searching for jobs, every site you go to, they'll tell you, we don't need your CV. Nobody asks for my CV, right? Nobody asks for my CV. What they want from you is for you to fill application forms. Most of these forms, you would download them and fill. Right? I kid you not, you would spend, if you are fast, you would spend 2 to 3 hours filling one form. Right? Yes, you spend 2 to 3 hours filling a form. Now, with every application, with every vacancy you see, right? For that particular vacancy, they would provide you the job description for that role you're applying for. They would also provide a person specification, right, for that role. Now, they do not just put those things there because they feel like providing documents for you. While you're filling the form, this application form I spoke about, can you hear me, Miss Kogi?
Yes.
While you're filling this application form I spoke about, there's a part where you will need to write a personal statement. This personal statement should be 2 sides of an A4 paper. We all know what an A4 paper is.
What?
Right? Standard paper, right? 2 sides of an A4 paper. It's like an application letter, but it's not a letter. They call it application, but it's not a letter where you now write, dear ma, you address here. No, I guess you just write, you are telling them how the skills you have would make you do the job in line, and you must write all of these in line with the person specification. That's why they put that person's specification there. So they will tell you that they want someone who has QTS. You will see sometimes they will tell you some skills are desirable, some skills are mandatory, blah, blah, blah. They'll tell you they want someone who is able to use technology, mostly in bullet points, right? They will provide all of these. So what you are doing in that your personal statement is you're not writing in line with the person's specification, how your skills make you fit for that role. One mistake again I made, because it's a lot of writing, it is stressful. So what I did initially was I had one model letter that I was using for every application. I apply. I don't want to talk about how many applications I did. It's not an easy process. You would apply and apply and apply and apply. Some schools will get back to you. They'll tell you, unfortunately, you were not shortlisted. Some will not even respond to you. You know, so imagine having to put in a lot of work filling forms, spending 2 to 3 hours. Miss Kogi, you know how we work. We used to work in my school back then in Abuja. You know, we didn't have time. It was really time consuming. I'll go home, I'm tired, and I'm filling forms late into the night, and they'll never even call you. They'll never even shortlist you. Now, again, I'm always telling stories in a bid to make points, right? To make these things clearer to you. Because the forms are difficult to fill, not difficult, time consuming, you would find some questions that are, you're like, this irrelevant questions to you. Yes, it's irrelevant, but I hear they do all of these because of safeguarding reasons. Safeguarding is a big deal here. This is a story for another day, right? For safeguarding reasons, they want to discourage as much as possible people who will come and harm their children, people who would potentially molest children and all of that. You will not want to go through all of the rigors of so you will just leave it, you just go away. So I had one perfect letter to the best of my opinion. It was really good because I shared it with friends that I had, and I told them, okay, read this thing. What do you think? And they said, it's fantastic. It's very good, you know. And I kept applying with that letter because it did not make sense for me to be writing different letters for different applications. Do you understand? And the only time I got any kind of feedback, because some, like I said, some schools would tell you, unfortunately, some will not respond. So there was a school that got back to me. They said I was very close to being shortlisted, but they got one other candidate, a Ghanaian, who beats me to it. And they said the difference between me and the Ghanaian was the fact that his experience, his work experience, was in secondary school. So he had the GCS experience, and my experience was more in primary, and that thing pained me. I'm like, just so. So I was like, and I said, okay, it is possible most of these other schools have not been replying because they say my experience is in primary. So I told myself that if I didn't get a job that period, I would switch to the secondary so I can get more, because I had secondary experience, but really short, so I can have more secondary experience before I got this job that I got, right? So I was trying to make a point. Whilst I was having all of these, I applied for an advisor, and I was hooked up with an advisor, someone who was working with me one-on-one, guiding me through the process. So I told him my worry. I got QTS end of April, right? So I spent the whole of May, the whole of June, 2 months of serious search. Every day I am filling forms. When you start the process, you would remember today and you say, oh, this man really said that this thing is stressful. You know, I spent 2 months filling form, applying for jobs, not getting the feedback I wanted. You know, apart from the one that told me you were very close, somebody from Ghana beat, you know what that person answered me? So when I told my advisor my concern, what is the problem? Am I not doing something right?
Okay.
He said, okay, I should send him the letter I've been using for application. And I sent it to him. He read it. He said, this is good. He said, it is good, but he cannot just give me a pass mark because every application, every vacancy would have a person specification, and that your letter must be in line with the person's specification. And I told him, sir, are you saying that for every application I should write a letter? He said, yes. Now there I say, see, I am complaining that filling forms is stressful. Really, if you start filling most of these forms, you will get irritated. There are some I stopped halfway. I know that those people go corner, because they will start asking you, they can start asking you for the phone number of the headmaster of the school you taught in, well, many silly questions, and I could not get any of those information, so I'll just leave, you know. So it was then he opened my eyes to the fact that it is that letter, that what is it called again? Personal statements. He said that's what they use in shortlisting candidates. So what they do is that they put their person specification by the on one corner. They put bullet points of what they want, right? Then they look at your letter. Have you covered every area in the person specification? Yes, fine. Now, not just covering it. After covering it, you need to cover it by showing that you can do those things they spoke about in the person specification. You also need to show from your experience how you've used all of that. So, for example, if they are saying they're able to use that, they want someone who is able to use technology, right? It's very, you can't work here if you do not if you are unable to use technology. So you will now tell them, for me, for example, I told them, oh, that it's something I do where I work. We use technology back to back every day. At that point in time, I just did my Google for Education certification. I had a level 1 training. I told them how I've done all of that. I told them how, with my knowledge of the Cambridge primary curriculum, because my school used the Cambridge primary curriculum, with my knowledge of the Cambridge primary curriculum, we use tools for technology and all of that. Then most of the time, again, they would also tell you that, you see, technology is always there. They would always talk about someone who is able to use assessments. What is assessment? Your knowledge of assessment, both formative assessments, both summative assessments, and you see, most times we write exams in Nigeria just for writing exam sake, just because it is end of term. The white man does exam because it is the exams they do is even more for the school and not for the parents. But in Nigeria, we do exam for parents. The white man does, they do exams because they want to see how effective their work has been over time.
Yeah.
Now, that's not to say they also have the formative assessment, which is ongoing, the assessment for learning. But they now want to see, okay, when you now did the summative assessment at the end of the term or at the end of the unit, how did you use, you see, data? Data is very important here. They are always carrying out data. They're always carrying out data. Okay, after the exam that you did with the children at the end of the day, now as a school, not that you just mark and you send results home, that is, as a school or as a teacher, how did you use that information? Have you found out the strengths of your children? If you work in international schools, Ms. Kogi is here, we sit down, we have meetings where we say, oh, the kids are strong in this area. It may be in English, for example. We've noticed that reading is a challenge. Yes, reading is not being able to back up words. Most people, my child can read because they can say, next steps, apply for advisor. That is not reading. You can roll your tongue, you can talk from your nose. Do you understand what you're saying? If you don't understand what you're saying, I had one head teacher, Mr. Bruce, he will say you are backing at the words. Sounding is not reading. Do you understand? So they now want you to prove to them, how have you used the data to help the children learn better? So you've now found out that, okay, with the assessment, I see that my classroom, my students are strong in creative writing, but they are weak in comprehension. So I know that next term, while I'm planning my lessons, I will focus more on comprehension, or I'll find that balance, or I'll help give more support in comprehension. That's what you do assessment for, not to send results home to show that somebody carried first or somebody carried last. So they would put all of these things in the person specification. You now need to show how you've done. It is a lot of writing. It's not beans. I tell you, it's not beans. Do you understand? So he told me that you need to do all of that for every application. Are we there, Ms. Kogi?
Yes.
Very good.
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
You need to do all of this. I say, Jesus, which I never start. So this man was not giving me work. When I see any opening, he will tell me that go and write. After writing, share it with me. I'll share with him. From we went back and forth. Then he will say, okay, now you're good to go. He started working with me, like I told you. In May, I worked alone. In June, I worked alone. No, May I worked alone. May I worked alone. I met him midway June. Between midway June and first week in July, I got a job.
Wow.
Yes. So
Wow.
one of these letters that went back and forth, and said, fine, you're good to go. Submit this. I just put in the application. I've done something similar. I've done something similar with some other people, and I always say this story. You can monitor the vacancy on the site. They'll tell you, okay, this vacancy it starts on this day, and the deadline for application is maybe the 5th of June. right? So you're watching and watching and watching. By the 5th of June, they will take down the vacancy. Then they start shortlisting people for interviews. Then they take it down on the 5th, maybe 6th, 7th. You now hear from them, right? Say, okay, you've been shortlisted or you've not been shortlisted. So I was just following these people closely. And again, this particular school, my school, we have 2 separate sites. It's a secondary school, but we have a separate campus for Key Stage 3. Key Stage 3 is year 7, 8, and 9. That's like JSS 1, 2, and 3, separate campus. It is considered a different school. In short, they do not see us as one school, they see us as 2 different schools. It is the same name, but we are 2 different schools, 2 different headmasters, and all of that. Then we have a separate campus for Key Stage 4 and 5, which is year 10, 11. So it's more like the easiest way to help explain this to someone who does not understand the system here will be separate school for JSS, separate school for SS, right? So this application was for JSS, Key Stage 3. So because it was for Key Stage 3, it now got me really interested because I had gotten some feedback from other schools, right? Because there are schools I had to write them. Why was I not shortlisted? What was wrong with my application? They'll say, you do not have much experience with the GCSEs. The GCSEs is WAEC. You do not have that experience with GCSEs. So I was very much interested in this particular one because it's Key Stage 3. So that's like teaching JSS 1, 2, and 3. I said, so it's close to what because I had moved to year 5. So it's close to my area. So my chances are high. I was monitoring this site back to back, and they took down the vacancy. I said, okay, now they want to start shortlisting. I think the following day or 2 days later, they put it back up again. I checked my email. There was nothing, and I was heartbroken. I said, okay, they took it down. They put it back up again, and there's nothing in my mail. It means they did not shortlist me. I was just refreshing my when the mail just dropped. That mail dropped on a Friday that I've been shortlisted for interview. They want me to get back to them and tell them when I will be available the following for interview. That weekend I did not sleep. I said I'm ready on Monday. On Monday I am ready. You know. So I was just, my brain was working 24/7. That Monday, coincidentally, was an event in my school. It was our graduation. I was a member of SLT. But again, thankfully, I worked in a fantastic school. You know, from when I applied for QTS, my school was aware. You know, most employers, you tell them, they won't say, you want to leave us, they'll start messing you up. You know, my school was aware, my proprietor was aware, the head of school was aware, everybody was, people who needed to know were aware that I had applied for QTS. So on that day, I told my head of school that I have an interview. And at the same time, the time of the interview coincided with the time for the graduation. I'm a member of SLT. I need to be in the hall as well. I told her I will not be able to attend the interview. She said, go and tell Mrs. Ibrahim. So I went to Mrs. Ibrahim and I told her that. That's my proprietress. I told her that I have an interview. She said, okay, fine, no problem. Go and attend your interview. You know, you see, till tomorrow, I still market my school. It's like I am still there because it was like family. I had my interview in my head teacher's office. At that point, my body was hot, it was shaking, anxiety, everything. I really, really wanted this thing. And I went into that place, you know, with fire. And I had the interview. The rest is history. They told me they would get back to me, and they got back to me. You know, it is very important. I have spent a lot of time on this slide because I want you, if you've applied, if you've not applied for QTS, if you don't have QTS yet, there'll be no need to contact them. They would only work with you if you have QTS. Then just get the link on the screen currently and follow the link. They would ask you to fill in your details and all of that. It might take time because right now there's a very long queue. You saw the list of people of the countries previously that are doing this thing. It's not only Nigeria. There's Nigeria, there's Ghana, there's South Africa, there's Jamaica, there's India, and the rest.
Yeah.
So there's a very long queue. Right now, I'm sure they are even overwhelmed with work. So they might not get back to you immediately, but they will definitely get back to you. Okay. And once they assign someone to you, please do it. It is stressful. They'll tell you it's like you are doing project in school. You will keep going back and forth with your course advisor, do this, come back. That's the process, but it will help you. They'll tell you to go and do CPDs and all of that. Let me move on. Now here I have some sites. Where you can go to get jobs. The first one there is the government website. Can you see the site, Ms. Kogi?
Yes.
Very good. The first one there is the UK government website. You can register on the site, use the filter, and you'll be getting alerts, for jobs for your field. There's TES there, and there's my new term. There are other ones, but these are the three main ones that I know of. Okay. So that's it basically. All of what I have just mentioned are for people with specialism in the subjects I mentioned. Now, if you do not have a background in any of the subjects I spoke about, yes, you can still apply for QTS, but it means that you will now have to use these other options. Let me go back to, okay. What do you see now, Ms. Kogi?
How to get QTS.
Very good. So there are 4 routes to qualify teacher status for teachers and trainees outside the UK. The first one, apply for QTS in England using our professional recognition service. That's the one I used, where they will get to recognize your experience from those countries that are on the list that I spoke of. Then there is the apply for assessment only route. You can look up all of these things. Okay, there's the apply for teacher training in England. Now, you see this teacher training in England. Again, you see how I gave my opinion about the English proficiency, right?
Yes.
It's my opinion. I want to share another opinion again. It is my opinion, right? I'm not saying you must do it, but I would recommend this for me. If you were here when I was speaking, I said I'd already started this particular one before. This apply for teacher training in England. I'd already started the process for this one. I was in the process when someone mentioned to me that if you are a qualified teacher in your country, just hold on. We are working on a policy where you'll be able to come in to teach it in England. Now, this particular one, I would recommend it to anybody else who you're a teacher already, or let's say you read English, or let's say you read social studies, or you read physical education, right? And you want to come in to teach. I would recommend for you to do this instead of going to do a master's degree. Because most people, when they want to travel, they'll say, I want to go and do my master's. I want to go and do my master's. If you do a master's in education, they will not recognize you as a teacher. You will still work either as a supply teacher or as a teaching assistant. So what you will do instead, it's same 1-year program. It's a master's level program, right? Or no, level 6. It's level 6, right? Apply for teacher training. Do the program for 1 year. So you're training for 1 year. The money you're using to pay school fees for masters, it's something similar you used to pay school fees for this particular program. In that your 1 year, at the end, they'll place you in schools to go to your teacher training and all of that. And most of the time, once you are done with your teacher training, your school will just take you in and that's it. You have a job.
Okay.
As opposed to going to do a master's where you will not, because again, I don't know how to say this without me.
I understand you.
Like I am insensitive. Here, abroad, there's dignity in labor. You see, there's dignity in labor. You can be they don't have wheelbarrow pushers here, right? But you can be a wheelbarrow pusher here, and nobody will look down on you because you're a wheelbarrow pusher. You will charge people by the hour.
Yeah.
And all that. There's dignity in labor. I'd rather, for me, again, it's a personal opinion, I'd rather do a 1-year teacher training program where I'm sure I'll get a job in a school immediately than for me to go and do a master's degree where I would end up going back to search for care jobs. Because most people here, they do master's degree. When they finish, they'll still go and search for care job again.
Mm.
Do you understand? So
Wow.
I'd recommend this. That's my recommendation. So
So it's better you do the teacher training. It's like basically like how will I say, it's like what do we do when you're doing when you're studying
Remedial.
education?
yes,
Remedial sort of.
yes.
Like
You
ready
understand?
media, but with classroom experience.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Teaching practice.
Yes.
Yes, teaching
Practice.
practice. I was looking
Yes.
for
Yes.
more like teaching practice,
Yeah.
but you are learning, you are teaching at the same time. So possibility that when you are done with your program, you are already employed at once.
Yes.
You don't need to start looking for jobs again.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Please, I have a
Yes.
question.
I'm coming. Just hold on. No, we'll have time for just hold on.
Please, questions.
Put,
Let's hang on with
put
questions till we are
your
done with everything, so
write
that
the
we can take
questions
all the
down, okay?
questions
Right.
together.
I'm almost done. I'm almost done.
Please
Now,
just write down your questions. Write down your
so
questions.
you don't forget. Now, again, something to whet your appetite. There is a relocation payment. Or part if you are coming in to teach languages, if you're coming in to teach physics, chemistry, or biology, there is a relocation payment of £10,000.
Yay!
Right? So think about it. That should make you interested. Then if you want to do the teacher training option, right? Again, it's a lot of information. For most of the subjects, apart from the relocation payment, there is a bursary. They have bursary, they have different options because they're trying to attract people into teaching. They have bursaries, they have scholarship options, and automatically, once you get admission for most subjects, you would qualify for this. There's no Cherry Cambia go and For
Okay.
most of these subjects, they will pay you as high as £25,000.
Wow.
Yes, do the maths. Do the maths. £25,000. That one has covered your school fees.
Yeah.
So but they will not give
So
you at the
you can
beginning.
still do your masters eventually if you want.
So they will not give you at the beginning of the program
Can
because.
you start again with this your last?
Sorry.
Please, can you come again with the £25,000 or something? I didn't hear
Money
that
don't
clearly.
enter your ear. So
Like money.
Hey, money.
and I know that voice. I know
I
that
didn't get.
voice.
I didn't get it.
It's Miss Alice.
So
Yeah.
you want to come in to teach, right? Using the pathway that I used, and your specialism is in French, is in languages or physics, right? You would receive a relocation payment of £10,000. Then, if you want to use the study route, where you come in to do teacher training for a year, now the amount varies depending on the subject you want to come and train to teach, because you will train to teach a subject. You'll come in train to teach maths or train to teach science and all of that, right? So, but it's normally between the range of 20 to
Okay.
£30,000 that you will be paid if you do that teacher training option.
Okay.
This is not story,
Okay.
telling you facts. So for some, I think for most,
Sorry,
most
if you at the end of your training, you paid,
now where they
is it at the end of your training?
it's
Paid
not
that
at the
money or
end,
what?
somewhere in between, somewhere in the middle. But they will not give it to you at the beginning.
Okay.
They'll not give it to you at the beginning.
So you're not running away with their money.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I want to believe they want to be sure that you are committed first. That's nobody told me, but that's my conclusion.
Okay.
Because
Yeah, it's the truth, of course.
yeah, because even the £10,000 for people who are coming in to teach straight up, they'll not give you immediately. They'll give you somewhere in between.
Okay.
Because they would want to do when you come in, You will need to be confirmed. You will pass through. You know how when you get a new job, you pass through your probation, to observe you. Like for me, I was observed. I resumed in September.
Yes.
Between September and December, between September and November, I was observed at least 3 times. After the observation, they confirmed me. So I believe they want to, again, this is me giving my opinion. No one told me, but I believe that's what they were doing. They want to see your level of commitment. They want to see, to be sure that you're on ground. So the money for the training, they'll pay you somewhere in the middle of your program. Okay. So if you need to go and look for money, go and look for money. Most people come here to do master's degree without any option of getting money elsewhere, and they're able to find money for school fees and they will pay. Do you understand? So that's it basically there. If you're not following me already, it will be nice if you want to connect with me. On Instagram, I am japa.teacher. On LinkedIn, I am Ogenemine Omuero. So you can follow me and connect with me. Then
why are you putting it now? You are supposed to allow me so I will make money. I tell them they should pay me, then I'll give them your contact.
Okay, I've removed this. Japa.teacher.
On Instagram,
Japa.teacher.
Okay.
But if you on Instagram, if you type his name, Ogenemine Omuero, if you type his name on Instagram, Ogenemine, it will come out. Japa Teacher will come out. Then on LinkedIn also Ogenemine. But what I will do, if you're following me on any of the social media pages, I will make a post this evening and tag him. So when I tag him, you can just follow him from there. If you're following me on social media, I think that will be easy. If you don't know how to look for him using these links, using the handles.
So people have been itching for questions. Question time. Let me stop sharing. I know the questions will be a lot, but let's see. Chidima Uchendo has raised her hands.
Yeah.
Now I can see Miss Juliet. You're here. Well done.
Okay, yeah, please. My name is Gladys, and I may start somewhere.
Okay, thank you very much. Can I go on, or she should go first? Madam, do you want to go first?
I think
Miss Gladys is talking already. Let's
okay
speak.
Then.
Okay, yeah, that's this Miss Gladys, and my questions are: number one, the TRCI certificate, is it different from the license? Number two.
Yes.
Okay. Number two, what about TOEFL and IELTS? Are they equivalent of IELTS?
What about what?
TOEFL.
TOEFL. TOEFL.
And IGCSE, yeah, and IGCSE equivalent.
Okay. So let me answer the first question. Your first question, there is a TRCN license and there is a certificate.
Let me look for my license.
Yes. So the license is like an ID card, right? It's like an ID card. You know, an ID card, right? The license you get to renew. I'm not sure. Is it every 2 years, every 3 years? But the license you get to renew. Yeah, you get to renew your license based on dues you pay. You pay dues. You are meant to pay dues annually or so, right? Then the certificate is constant. You already have it. But the license you need to renew. So there are 2 separate things. Then the question.
But you will need your certificate to renew to make your license. You will need your certificate to make your license.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
Then
finally,
the question is. Pardon?
I was about to ask about technical ed call. Is this still a route to search?
Technical what? I don't know what technical ed core is, please.
In Nigeria, that there is this Nigerians to go and teach. southeast and all that.
Well,
Rather.
all the options I mentioned are the options that I am aware of, right? All the different routes. Those are the routes that I am aware of. Or any other route.
Please move away from
And
your
I
dogs.
know you asked a
Oh,
question.
sorry.
You asked a question about IGCSE and all of that. The options for the English proficiency, I mentioned them there. Those are the ones they want. Except the person who got, if it's a GCSE the person did here in England, then yes, that might work. But if you did IGCSE in Nigeria, no, that's not what they want. It's clearly stated what they want. Okay, let's move on quickly. More people want to ask questions. Chidima is waiting. Can we move on to Chidima?
Okay. Yes, please. Thank
Yeah.
you very much. I really appreciate this time because information is key. I've tried to apply to so many schools. I actually got like 2 or 3 that asked me the days I would like to be interviewed. Unfortunately, I didn't know what to do from there. And then that was just it because I was stuck. I didn't know what to say to them, or I wasn't prepared for the interview. I was just doing it for fun though, but I got some that was interested. And another thing is I actually got one in US that asked me to come in person. So I was wondering, like, is it that they don't know I'm a Nigerian? Because anything Nigerian, they'll be like, oh no, Nigeria doesn't fly. And my question now is with my um teacher's license, is it the same thing as the QTS over there?
It seems you joined us halfway. It's not the same thing.
Yes.
It's not the
Okay.
same thing. It's not the.
Okay.
If it was the same thing, then there'll be no need for you to apply for QTS. Then there'll be no need for you to come
Okay.
and train again. They're two separate
Okay.
things. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. I see. Yeah.
As long sorry, sorry, Ms. Amine. If you are on my WhatsApp page, or in fact, what I will do also across social media handles by God's grace today, I will put in the link for the on YouTube where you can watch this again for everyone, in case maybe you came in halfway or there's a confusion somewhere, so you can watch again and again, so that you to clear any clarification. Is that okay for everyone?
That's
I think it's
fine.
clear.
Sure, that's fine.
Yeah,
What's
that's
your
okay. All right.
Questions?
Next.
There's Vivian here. There's Alice. So maybe you pick them.
Yes, Miss Vivian. We've heard Miss Alice. Let's hear Miss Vivian.
Okay, thank you, Ms.
Please, can I ask?
Regina.
Thank you, Miss Vivian.
Yeah. So, good evening, Mr. Mine. I'm trying to learn how to pronounce your name. Yeah, the first time I saw you, I said mine. Is it that Ms. Regina is saying mine? Is it mine?
I call him my name.
So my question, how can one apply for this teacher training in UK?
Okay. Again, everything is on the government website. Everything is on the government website. I'm pretty certain if you Google it, you will find it. If not, reach out to me and I'll provide a link for you.
Okay. Second, do we need to be in the UK to attend the teacher training, or we can do it online?
Okay. Now, teacher training for QTS, right? You would need to be on ground.
Okay.
You will need to be on ground. So you would apply to schools from Nigeria. You know, you will go through the process, you will get admission. When you get admission, you apply for visa, you know, then you travel. You need to be on ground. It's a 1-year program. It's a 1-year program. You need to be on ground, yes.
So after attending the teacher training, do I still need QTS, or I have to get a QTS before applying for that teacher's training?
At the end of the teacher training, you'll be awarded QTS. The idea behind going for the teacher training is for you to get QTS.
Okay.
So at the end of the program, they will not say Miss Vivian and Tam, you are now qualified. Take your certificates. Okay.
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 Okay. So we have to be there in present,
Yes.
physically to attend.
Yes.
I think when you
And you
apply
said
for
it has
it,
packages, right?
Pardon?
You said it comes with some packages.
Yes.
yes, Vivian, when you apply for it, I think, and you're awarded, you've been given the admission, then you can use your letter to process for a visa.
Okay.
Yes, since you cannot just leave from here, and you know how visa issue is right now.
Yeah.
Yes, so in case you are thinking you cannot go just like that, I don't have a good place to stay. So when you start the program, when you apply for it and you've been granted admission, then you apply for a visa, then you go, and then all that processes.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Mike.
You're welcome.
Miss Alice? Miss Alice?
Okay. Please, I want to ask. Yes, I'm here, please. Okay. Please, I just want to know the qualifications one needs to have in order to be able to apply for teacher training program.
It's the same. If you
specific qualifications.
Okay, so let's say you want to train you, for example. I know you did French, right? I know you did French. So you go and train to do your degree is enough. That's fine. You just apply.
Yeah.
You have a bachelor's degree in French.
Okay.
That's it's like you're applying to go and do master's degree.
Yes.
Do you understand? So your bachelor's degree is that's what you need.
Okay. Is there any? Okay.
That's the basic. They might still ask you for English proficiency, but the basic is your bachelor's degree, not NCE. NCE will not work.
Okay. Is there having a bachelor's degree? Is there any specific grade? Is there any specific grade one needs to have? In his or a bachelor's degree, maybe your CGPA.
Yes, ideally, they'll tell you a minimum of second class lower. Ideally, that's what they will say. But I've seen instances where they've gone lower, depending on the demand.
Okay.
Depending on the demand, but they'll tell you minimum 2.2. But there are instances where they've taken lower than 2.2 because there's serious shortage. There've been instances where they've gone lower than that. Yeah.
Okay.
We have more hands
maybe
up.
Like in third class or stuff like that.
Yeah. Yes. You can still apply.
All right, Miss Jessica.
Thank you. I just wanted.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you, Miss Alice. Miss Jessica, your hand is up.
Don't mind me, I was trying to unmute. Hello, Mr. Mine. Nice to see you.
How you doing?
I'm good.
She's in this country. She abandoned me and she's here.
No, Mine, I will
Miss
never
Jessica
forget
is in UK with you.
Yes, it was Mine that helped me when I was doing my own transcript, Wahala and all that. Thanks to you. I will never forget that. So, yeah. I want to ask, even though I'm in the country, I want to ask, I have people that, that wants to be here also.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the teacher training, must you have a degree in education? What if someone that doesn't have a degree? Okay,
you mustn't have a degree in education.
Okay, you mustn't have a degree in education.
Just your bachelor's degree is fine.
Okay, your bachelor's degree is fine. Then so when you want to apply for it, you now choose the as in like your specialization or something.
Yes, but that's your area of specialism has to be an area that is linked to your degree. You can't all of a sudden, although they always have ways to work it out. Let's say, for example, your background is in French and you now say you want to go and train to teach maths. They would like, okay, can you do it? You would need to show there's one think they have. I've forgotten the name. There's something they do to check if you have what it takes, to teach maths. But
Okay.
mostly what you will train to teach will be something that they feel like your degree would help you with. If you've done a course where that has to do with numbers, then why not? You can come and train to teach maths. Do you understand?
Okay. For instance, now for somebody that studies something like sociology. Sociology, like, okay, so what would you advise that the person specializes on, or what would be okay?
Maybe history, maybe geography.
History, geography.
Maybe history, geography. Again, that's why you need an advisor, because even for that teacher training option, right, you will still be assigned someone as your advisor. So the advisor will be in a better position to tell you what to do.
Okay.
Do you understand? Yeah. But for someone who did sociology, I'll say maybe geography. I don't know.
Okay.
There's a test they normally do. If maybe the person says they want to teach English, they have ways to work all of this things out. It's, just get an advice.
Sorry, do you have an idea of how much it is? I know last checking was about £3,000
for the fees.
Yes,
it's way more than that. If you want that £3,000 you're talking about, is what you will pay if you want to do the assessment only route. There are different routes to getting QTS. If you want to do the assessment only route, with that assessment only route, it simply means that maybe you are teaching in a school already in Nigeria. I think they have specific schools they work with. I'm not sure. I can't tell you from the top of my head. But let's say you work at the Regent School, for example. You want to apply for QTS, you would apply, and they would send someone to come and carry out an assessment of your teaching for 12 weeks. So they come and observe you for 12 weeks. You do task to do for 12 weeks. After which, they will not say, okay, Ms. Regina, we've observed you for 12 weeks. We think you have what it takes. You've been awarded QTS. That's the assessment only. So you're only being assessed based on your work experience. So it's for that option that you pay. For that option, the range is between.
Ms. Jessica, please mute your mic.
The range is normally between £1,500 to £3,000, £4,000. But if it is for studies, 1 year, it's a minimum of £10,000, £15,000. Depending on the school, because there are different schools, there are different training providers. You know how if you want to do masters here, different schools, so it's dependent on the school. Some schools might say £20,000, some might say 18, some might say 17. So it's dependent. Again, when you look at it, even if your fee is £18,000, for example, but you're getting a bursary of £25,000. and on top of that, you will still get relocation payments. So
okay, so I think it's worth it.
It's worth it.
Okay, Mr. Roland.
On top of that, relocation payments.
Yes, £10,000.
Oh, good evening.
Mr. Roland, your hand is up.
I thought that's for only
Hello, good evening. Can you hear me?
Good evening, Mr. Roland.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So thank you very much for the wonderful expositions. So currently I'm a teacher in Abuja, and I already have my QTS. I obtained it 1st April 2024, and since then I've been applying. Thank you very much. I've been applying to different schools, but I've been getting these unfortunate letters.
Yes.
I have gotten up to.
Do you have an advisor?
Yes, I have an advisor from the Department for Education.
Yes.
So he has been putting me through a lot of lectures. In fact, this teacher standard 1 to 8, I've been on it, but it's a lot of
the matrix, everything.
The matrices, everything.
Before you ask your question, right? Before you ask your question, sorry, I want to give you a very simple task, maybe in 1 minute or less, right? just tell people here what you've done so far with your advisor, or what is it a he or a she?
Is a she. Is
Okay, so just tell
thank
them
you.
the things you've done so far, how you've gone back and forth, so they know that this thing is not child's play, it's not beans.
Honestly, oh, thank you very much. It's not actually a child's play because she first of all asked me to send in my curriculum vitae, and I sent it. And she called me, and then she told me that absolutely there is nothing in that current curriculum vitae, that I will need to do a lot more work. So she now sent me an email containing these matrices. And teacher standard one can take you 1 month, 2 months to go through if you really want to go through it. She gave me 12 weeks to go through. Honestly, I have not. Right now, I'm still on teacher standard. I think standard 5. And that 5 has a lot. You just open one link, it will open like 50 other links. You still have to go through and then come back. So that is where I am now. And then the CPDs, she encouraged me to try and cover up a lot more CPD. Pardon?
She told you about safeguarding. You must do safeguarding CPDs back to back.
Yes, safeguarding. Yes, she told me about safeguarding. I've actually done level 1 safeguarding, and I told her, she encouraged me. So actually, the 12 weeks have elapsed. So she gave me another 8 weeks to go through, and I'm just struggling to go through. So I don't know whether I've given you enough. So she's patiently waiting for me, encouraging me.
Let's have your question now, please. Let's have your question.
Okay. So my question is there any other thing I can still do while I am trying to cover up the matrices and the CPDs, and then probably get a call up for an invite?
Yeah, what you can do, first, I would recommend for you to judiciously, what better word can I have? Complete every task that has been given to you by your advisor. It's very important. It's preparing you. But apart from that, you can continue applying for jobs. Continue applying for jobs. But one thing you need to do is to ensure that you do not have one model letter that you use for your applications. They will not call you. What? Seriously. You see, I'm sure you've gone through the process, so you understand what I'm saying. You would always see a person's specification, right?
Yes, definitely.
You see that person's specification. You see all of those bullet points. Bullet points,
yes.
One paragraph. Bullet points, and that paragraph. Right. For every bullet point, write and give examples how you've done that thing.
Okay.
Follow what you've been told by your advisor. You can still reach out to me. I can see if I can give you support, but it's not easy. But the matter is, at the end of the day, it's the move. It is worth it. Seriously, it's worth it. I've seen people who have given up. I got QTS last year, April, over a year ago. Right? There are people who got QTS with me that have not been able to land a job right now because most people are lazy. They don't want to put in the work. See, this thing is work. You must put in the work. Some people will say you should help them write the letter. Me that have work to do. I should have my help. I'm helping you to write letter. You can do it now. So if you don't have to write it by yourself, so when you now have to write reports in school, how would you write reports in school? Would you be telling people to help you to write reports? Yeah. What I used to. Okay, let me not say. But you can get someone to help guide you. But it's not a case of where you will sit down, fold your hands, and tell somebody to do it for you. No, it means you will not be able to work here. You can't even work here if that's the case. You can't really. But just do what you've been told by advisors. Still reach out to me, and I can give you support. Thank you, sir.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. So please, how can I reach out to you? How can I get?
If you're on Instagram, search for me, japa.teacher. You would find me. Japa.teacher. Yeah, JAPA.teacher. You find me.
Okay. Thank you very much, because you have actually hit You've actually hit 2 points that is sinking down to me. So I'm very grateful that I was able to connect into this discussion. 2 points that you hit now that has actually trying to wake me up is those specification skills that they are looking for. I've not actually taken time to go through them and
Yes.
then match them to what I have done.
That's why they've not called
I have
you.
not actually done that, and I've applied more than 30
They will not
different
see.
applications.
Mr. Roland, I know they swear for you. They're not
Yes,
gonna call
sir.
you. They're not gonna call you. They're not gonna call you. They will not call you because when they want to shortlist, they've told you, see what we want. That is what that thing means. Person specification. This is who we want. So you now need to show that you are that person by including all of those in your letter.
Yeah.
If you like, speak all the big grammar. If it's not in line with that person's specification, they will not call you. You just waste your time for nothing. And you'll be frustrated.
All right. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much. And thank you.
All right, Miss Alice, you still have a question?
And thank you very much for this program.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Roland.
Thank you.
Miss
Has
Alice, you
been
still have a
answered.
question?
Oh,
Okay.
Thank you.
Miss Vivian, your hand is still up. That one I'm asking. Miss Vivian?
Okay. Yes, I still have questions, please. Sorry.
Okay.
It's about the IL.
Okay. Yes.
Am I supposed to write it before I apply for the QTS or the teacher training? Do I need to do that one too?
Right, just
You
write
can do
just
it
write
now. It's possible. I think there's opening for one next week.
Okay.
Prepare for IELTS. Prepare for IELTS. Let me tell you, IELTS is not a respecter of anybody.
Yes, I know about it. My friend did it. In short, she spent nights studying. So someone came to me also. He wants to do it. I said, see, IELTS is not something that you just sit down and be doing. You have to study for it.
Let me tell you, you can't spend the night.
Night.
You can't spend the night. Let me tell you. See, IELTS is not a respect. You must practice, and you must practice all the 4 skills. It's very important. The 4 skills:
You must practice.
listening,
Yes.
reading, writing, speaking. Practice them. IELTS will fall your hand. You will go and cry. Even native speakers will feel IELTS very well. Now, let me tell you. I'll just give you an overview of how listening, the way it works is you have your script with you, your question paper with you. They're playing an audio. As they're playing it, you look at the questions, you're writing down answers immediately. So you need to practice with speed. Your speed and accuracy needs to be on point, because if you get distracted, it will not pause for you. It's just playing, and as it's going, they expect you to follow through and be dropping your answers. Right? That's listening. Go and practice it. Don't go and do one day. The reading is like comprehension. I think it's an average of maybe 4 texts, or maybe 4 texts, or 4 or 5 texts. It starts from simple to difficult. You would read the text. The time, it's normally an hour for reading. The time will not even be sufficient for you if you've not practiced. You will not finish, because you'll be looking for the answers you will not see. You will not see. Then, is it the writing? You see that listening and the reading
is
even easy, because
please let's allow Mr. Minion to speak.
You see, that listening and the reading is even easy, because if your answer is correct, it is correct. You need to practice. If you are wrong, you are wrong. You see the writing. You don't have to write. You need to go and practice writing.
Sorry.
You will think that you are a writer. When you now write and you give them, they not tell you that you are band 5 or you are band 6. Like, so all of this is the way it is graded, right? It's from 1 to 9, 1 being the least and 9 being the highest. No, it's not. You go and practice. So go and practice. Then there's speaking. Even the speaking, you think you can speak English. You will sit in front of an examiner. Oh yeah, they'll tell you to be discussing. You just freeze.
And the English will speak me. The English will speak me.
So
okay, the last one is about the, okay, thank you very much. About the advisor. That means after getting my IELTS, right? So am I getting the advisor immediately, or I have to apply for that teacher training, then an advisor will be assigned to me?
now, I can tell you want to use the teacher training option, right? Apply for teacher training and for an advisor at the same time.
Okay, okay.
You would possibly be assigned one.
Mm.
Yeah, you'd possibly be assigned one, but if you're not assigned one, if you get an advisor before you get feedback from the school, you cannot tell them, okay, I've applied for. Get an advisor before you apply. Get an advisor before you apply, because your advisor will help you. It's even the application. It just occurred to me now. You see, all of these writing of personal statements and all of that, you will still do it with the teacher training one. You will not just fill forms and that. You will still need to write. So your advisor will now guide you on how to write.
Okay.
Thank you, Vivian.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Okay.
Miss Alice, your question has been answered, right? Miss Gladys, your hand is still up. You have a question?
Yes,
Miss Gladys, do you still have a question? All right. Miss Alice, do you have a question? Miss Alice, do you have a question?
Please. Please, I want to ask if yes, quickly. I
Miss
want to
Alice, go
ask.
on.
Say for instance, I opt for the option. Say for instance, I opt for the option of teacher training program. Am I expected to pay my fee in full, or I can pay in installments?
Different schools have different options. Different schools have different options, but it's mostly in installments. It's mostly in installments.
Okay.
Okay. Miss Gladys, were you speaking earlier?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you to Mimi. I think I've got a good response from the questions the other people asked.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
All right. Any other question, anybody? Am I missing anyone? I guess not. Okay, I guess not. I think all the hands are down. Okay. Okay. Mr. Roland, your hand is still up.
Yes,
please, if you don't have any question, hang on, please. If you don't have any question, please tap the raised hands option again so your hands are down. Miss Gladys, please tap the raise. Mr. Roland, hang on. Miss Gladys, please tap your hand up down so that we know you don't have hands up.
Is this still up?
Okay, it's down now. Thank you. Mr. Roland, go on.
Please, I want to appreciate you for this program. Honestly, I have gotten something from it, and I wish to apply it as soon as possible. In fact, I can't even wait because there's one application up I want to. But I said, let me just cover up some CPDs before I do that. Thank God for this program. So I'm going to work on that program. So please, I want to know, when is this program still? Is this program still coming up anytime soon?
It is coming up again in 2 weeks, but not on this topic, on a different topic. I host professional teachers in the 21st century with different things, different themes. I think this is the 4th one we've had. So next time we're working on something totally different. As the way you saw it on social media, I'm going to also put it up on social media again. It comes in we're supposed to actually have done this in July, but I had a lot on my plate. I couldn't work it out. Mr. Minen also was busy. I think it was towards the end of term for him, end of session, sorry, for him. So we couldn't do that. That's why, but from time to time, we're going to have this again on different topics. Probably not on this for any time soon. Much later, when Mr. Mina will still come back again. Mr. Mina, you will not get tired of me. You have no choice. So much later, we'll do this again because I know a lot of people will still ask questions. A lot of people will still want again. Those are people that are here will still want to ask more questions again. So,
What's your
but in case you remember any question and maybe you couldn't remember any question now, please get in touch with me. If I can't answer, I'll refer it back to Mr. Mina and get back to you. But then also you have his social media handles. You can ask him there. But any other question, even if it's not on this and you feel like you need something to ask concerning teachers and all of that, contact me as much as possible. I'll answer. If I can't, I'll hook you up with a teacher that can answer you. Are we good on that?
All right. Yes, very good. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it.
Thank you everyone for joining up. 2 hours on the mark. Mr. Mina has become an Englishman.
Wow.
Even though by our training from the school we're coming from Abuja Prep, we are taught to be on time. So thank you, Mr. Mina, for this. Like I said, you will not get tired. I will call you again. May not be on QTS, maybe on something different. Whatever, if I dream and wake up and I remember a topic, get ready for me. And all of you teachers that are here, I've marked your names. I will look for all of you. I may end up engaging any of you for one of my trainings. Freely you have received, freely you will give.
Yes, so
Where is the chocolate?
Yeah,
Where is
I'm happy
the
to do
chocolate? Where is the chocolate? Jabba teacher, where
Well,
is
don't worry, I'll send you virtual
the
chocolates, Miss Gladys. All right. Mr. Mina, you have any
All
last
right,
words to
thank you.
say?
Thank you, the Jabba teacher.
Thank you. We are very grateful.
thank you, Miss Raina.
Thank you. Mr. Mina, any
You're
last
Thank
welcome.
you,
words?
Raina. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
I saw one of my colleagues just join and
See
she's
you.
leaving. I don't understand. Miss Semitokwe.
Mr. Mina, any last words?
Yeah, do not be discouraged. It's a difficult process, yes, but it's doable. I was able to do it, so you can also do it. I didn't give anybody 1 naira. I did everything on my own, apart from support I got from my advisor, right? So it's actually doable. Because I know you will get to the point where you will get discouraged. You would get discouraged, seriously. Because I have gone through the process, I understand. That's why I told Mr. Roland to speak. It is stressful. Do not give up. Just continue pushing. Yeah.
Like I always say, you can do it. You just haven't tried. Try it and persist. Consistency. Try. Don't worry. Mr. Mina, maybe next month I will join you in UK. Like Mr. Mina will say, Miss Reina, you just don't want to come. Maybe you don't know that I want to come. Maybe I will come.
We are waiting.
All right, everyone. Thank you all. Have a lovely evening. Have a lovely weekend. And until next time, we'll do this again. I'll call on you. We'll do this again. Thank you, everyone. And good
Thank you
night.
so much. Goodbye.
So when you end, you can end your call.
Thank you, Mina. Bye. Thank you, Rihanna.
I did see him.